Born student from Awkward School, I would say Quaker Simplicity can be summed up in about one sentence. It is the ability to accept anyone, no matter what race, color, or sex they may be.
We would like to hear what you have to say about simplicity. What does this mean to you?
It just means that you're simply, when you go to meeting, you're simply there, and you simply are there, and you can have a divine meeting at the Quaker Meeting House.
That's brilliant, Dad. And tell me, are you the only birthright Quaker
Not the only one, but I am one.
at Glasgow meeting?
At Glasgow Meeting, yeah.
Great.
I was brought into membership at birth there, yes.
At birth. And what was that you wanted to say?
Well, I go to a meeting by bus every time I go to meeting.
And how many times a week do you go to Quaker meeting?
Usually twice at least, yeah.
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 What's the twice? What happens during the week?
Oh, there's various other meetings, they vary considerably.
Great.
But they're just gatherings, and people wish to talk about what they're talking about, and that's simple as that.
For me, I think simplicity means paring down. It means thinking about and trying to live with what is essential in mind, not all the things on offer around us. And now it's linked with sustainability and what we can do for the planet, for future generations. So for me, it's trying to not buy things I don't need, to be joyful, to enjoy life, to do things that feed my mind and spirit, but not to indulge in things that are just pure extravagance. I walk as much as I can everywhere, so I don't drive. I do drive, but only when I have to. I try and limit where I go so that I'm not doing a burden on fossil fuels. But mostly, I think for me, it's about concentrating on the essentials. Relationships, caring for people, concern for people. Not always succeed, of course. Only human, just like everybody else. Quakers are only human. But it's thinking about that and going for that. And Quakers always used to say, we'd live simply so others could simply live. And that's what I think we're all trying to do.
It's been very interesting to be asked to talk a bit about Quakers and simplicity. I'm actually recording this on the day of the coronation, where you see in a religious setting a huge amount of complex ritual and beauty of singing and that sort of thing. But simplicity as a Quaker and as a Quaker testimony to me has more to do with making space for what is really important. And so simplicity is about trying to shed away the distractions, to be able to focus on what really matters, and not allowing yourself to become overwhelmed with, say, possessions or position. And to be able to hear in this modern noisy world what you might be meant to be doing. We use the phrase, what you're led to do, which is rather different from what you want to do. In the Quaker past, there are records of people being led to do something that they really don't actually want to do. Feeling that there is something that is of greater importance, that one might be called to do. I'm somebody who can very easily get new enthusiasms. So I can throw myself into something new and different and get very excited about it all and buy the kit to do it, and then find that it gets overtaken by something else that might be more exciting or more interesting. And so for me, simplicity is something that I have to work at a bit, and to allow space when there is something that I want to do that turns up, to be able to let the sediment settle and see whether this is really what I should be spending my time doing. And simplicity doesn't mean that there's no beauty, or but perhaps that there's room for appreciation of beauty. Recently, Quakers, like most people, have become even more aware of the importance of sustainability, of trying to live a life that is sustainable and doesn't impinge on the right of other people to have a fair share of the world's resources, and a fair share of a fulfilled life. And this has been something that it links actually with privilege, and of recognizing the way in which it is very easy to use and abuse your privilege. So a simple approach to life means that you can cut through all the excesses, the meaninglessness, and give space for the meaningful and the truly beautiful and true way of living. Destination. No, it's not something that you achieve now and you've achieved it. It's an ongoing thing, and there will be challenges, ongoing challenges to that simplicity. Because, again, as far as I can see, quite a lot of the problems that we have need complex answers, complex approaches from several different angles, and that's what I see as a very creative tension between an unrealistic idea about simplicity, living the simple life, eschewing possessions and so on, and participating fully in relationships with other people and dealing with the disagreements, the conflicts of interest that might emerge from that. So maybe simplicity is, I suppose you could say it's a technique. But I feel that it's more than that. And I suppose that's why I see it as perhaps a religious thing, or a spiritual thing. And that some of the letting go of pretty dross is about making that creative space for what has depth of meaning. I know that people quite often say that they reach a different space when they run, or when they're out in nature, or when they are involved in something that we would consider to be a creative art, like the Quaker tapestry and sewing, and of course one of the things about the Quaker tapestry was that on the whole it was done as group work, and so there's that focus on the creative thing, which could become obsessive, but I think simplicity is probably different for different people, but I think it is rooted in something which is universal, but the way in which we express simplicity in our lives and in our relationships probably differs quite widely. That's probably the universal part of it, and the individual part is maybe the outer part. And that's where the variety comes as well, because some sorts of people are much more outward oriented, and others are much more inwardly oriented. And we need them all.
What does Quaker Simplicity mean to me? I think it's something that has evolved over my time, thinking about the testimonies of Quakers. And today I would say my focus is on environmentalism and how we treat the planet and look after the resources that we have, and how that can be seen in different ways, from what we buy to how we use things, how we reuse things, and how we move through the world, really.